Okay, it's now on. It's live now. Oh,
Fantastic.
at last. Is that you online?
Yes, that's me. I just clicked on it.
Okay.
Okay, cool. Hope it all goes well.
Yeah. Are you going to be online?
I will be online for a bit, yes, whilst I'm doing a bit of editing.
Okay. Hello. Hello, Dec. Is that Declan? 7678. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. Whoever joins is welcome. I have one person on chats, and this is Martin Aliga, your senatorial candidate. I am streaming live and ready to have questions from the public. It's a Q&A that will run for 90 minutes. I look forward to your questions. Everyone is welcome. I can see we have 3 members now. Dec, you're welcome. I am open to any questions, and I'll be happy to answer them as and when they come. As it is, speaking to the camera is not a new is not really new, especially because I've chatted to friends on WhatsApp video and things like that. But doing this on YouTube is a very new thing, which I am happy to take as a new experience. So everyone is welcome to engage with me. You're welcome to engage with me. I'll read your questions and respond to them accordingly. We have just finished our 12th hustings yesterday, and that was a very good experience for me. And this afternoon, I joined a colleague who is an independent candidate for some of her, and she'll be joining me later. So I look forward. She will be ready to answer your questions when she arrives. So I look forward to hearing from everybody and anybody. Please cascade this link and let's take the opportunity to engage with me and share with me your questions, and let's see how we can engage in a manner that is mature, positive, and aimed at bringing answers to maybe areas of doubts about how and where I stand in certain areas that you might have not heard from me. I also want to thank those who have been standing with me on Facebook lately. I also met another member of the community who asked me a question around the subject of pro-life that I mentioned, and I was happy to see her post on Jazzy Politics later this afternoon. Her encounter with me and Samantha Greaves, with whom I have been canvassing votes today with. And I want to thank Kate Mellon for understanding, and I'll be making my written statement on Facebook tomorrow morning, following my conversation with her. Since I have been moving around canvassing, I didn't have time to get on Facebook, but I will do my due diligence in due course. Dekas is asking, do you think you would be comfortable with and suitable for the role of education minister? I think that I would not be very comfortable to go in the State's Assembly aiming for any ministerial position or even for chief minister, unless members within the elected, the 49 members are ready to give me their support. But as for me, being my first step into politics, I would love to participate and support ministers. I would love to support the ministry, any ministry really. But if I were to go into the Ministry of Education, I don't think there is anything I am not suitable to do. I hold a master's degree in African International Development. I hold a bachelor's degree in development studies. I hold diplomas in residential childcare work. I hold a diploma in education and special needs. I also hold other certificates. So, and I am interested in learning. Therefore, I would not have any problem really to lead a ministry like education in Jersey. I would be one proactive head of education in a ministerial position that I would love to put around myself people that understand the system and would love to see the system go forward. It won't be a role that I will handle single-handedly. I would want to have a team around me with whom we shall work to help appreciate what is going on at the moment and support it to better places. There are areas, if you wanted to know, that I would be quite forthcoming, is to try and support the education system in Jersey in things like managing areas of how teachers' relationship with young people is done. I would love to look into things like practices that distract young people from concentrating in school, like the social media distractions and carrying smartphones into school will be something I would want to discuss with those in the system, the technocrats in the system, and how to manage this well. I would love to bring in, do a lot of consultation, basically also look at what has been done. And I would not want to just start from nowhere. I remember when I was studying education, there was a kind of principle of working that a teacher needs to work from known to unknown. That is a principle I would love to, as a minister of education, to apply. I would, first of all, would like to go and appreciate what's going on, what has been going on, and look at the pros and cons of what has been going on, apply SWOT analysis where necessary, and then start working with new ideas and see how to implement that. So I would easily be comfortable in being a minister of education, and suitable as well. I think, I think I have good managerial skills. I have good interpersonal skills. I'm quite a relational person. Those are transferable skills that would help me run a ministerial position. Yeah. So as a political head, I would love to say that that's an area that I can do. The accuracy of, you're right. I have mentioned I would love to provide young people with more things to do on the island. Yeah, not only on the island, actually, let me add, I would say on and off the island. But yes, on the island, one thing that I am quite passionate about is organizing young people during academic year, during the active academic season, as well as off academic seasons. What I've noticed is that there are some young people who do not go out as often as others. So, for example, during summer holidays, there are activities that are silent. Then these activities are active again when schools open. And for example, there is after school clubs during summer and during half term and during all those. I would love to use those long and short breaks to fill them with activities that engage young people in a manner that is rotational, like cyclic. So I would love to create activities that are predictable in a manner that during summer, young people have more activities than what is available. For example, I know that there are activities the libraries provide for young people. I would love to promote those. I don't know how much is done, but my children are involved. We take our kids to take books out of library during holidays, during those breaks. They're involved. But I would love to create things, more other things. I learned recently when I went to the youth center how at St. James, how they have activities there. And I would love to know more about what goes on there and expand them on the other side of the island, because I come from St. Brelade's, and what I saw, the facilities and equipments that are quite well stored and quite well utilized, I believe, at St. James, was quite encouraging. But I would want to know more of how much those things are utilized, and how the different youth centers within the island are engaged in those things. Because especially during summer, it seems there is like some of the clubs close down. You know, even those who are running those clubs go on holidays, and or it's a break time for almost everybody. But young people remain young people. You never stop being a young person because it is summer holiday. Okay, you never stop being a young person because it is half term. You never stop being a young person because it is Christmas season. So I want us to have activities running through the year, that young people have things to go to. Hello, Shoni. You're welcome. Dek, I hope I've answered you. And thanks for engaging me. Currently, we have 3 people online. And 2 people chatting with me. So it's beautiful to see me putting myself out here, and I hope we shall make the most of it. 788, you're welcome. No, I have changed the station today. 788. No DVD collection in my background today. You're right. I am a bit more branded today for what is going on, and I hope you like this. I hope you like this new background without DVDs in my background. Well, for those of you that might be wondering what 77 is referring to, so last time I had the first, that was 2 days ago, I had my first ever experience of streaming live Q&A. So I sat at home. Today I'm not at home, and where I normally sit at home, I have a shelf of DVDs in my background, and so he's remembering that. I vote from St. Brelade's. Declan is asking, which parish hall will I be on Sunday? So I will be at St. Brelade's. I think the elections in St. Brelade's happen at the, if I'm not mistaken, they take place both at the at the parish hall in St. Aubin, and previously I have voted from the community center, the communicare in St. Bernard's. Yes, Shoni is saying she'll be going to the St. Parish Hall with Mom to vote for me. Oh, thanks very much. I appreciate. I really appreciate. It is my prayer and hope that many people will vote for me, and I will be indeed blessed to be honored to serve the island if I garner enough votes to be among the 9 senators. Oh, thanks, Shoni, for your prayers. I appreciate. Thank you. Your questions are welcome. If you have seen anything online that requires my notice and I haven't responded to it, you're welcome to raise it. Earlier this afternoon, somebody engaged with me on a conversation about LGBTQ, and then she went ahead to post something completely opposite from what we discussed. That was a level of dishonesty I've never seen. Unfortunately, at that time, I was actually with another colleague who had gone on to do her flyers elsewhere. So I was left by myself with this resident. And now I'm seeing messages online. This person is claiming that I know nothing about certain things about LGBTQ, and please, I ask everyone to disregard those information, because that is really that's very dishonest of that woman. It's unfortunate to have such people in the community that do not really respect decorum. So, George, I want to respond to your question saying, do you think being pro-life will affect your chances of getting elected? I really don't think so, because I have cleared the air. It's a term that I think I have been using it wrongly in this context. And the term pro-life here is understood differently from how I have used it in my home country. And I take that responsibility, but I've learned what I was really talking about, because if you notice in my letter, in that message I wrote, I say pro-life and procreation. So it's unfortunate that pro-life and procreation to many are two different things, whereas to me there are two words meaning the same thing. So the aspect of pro-life that points to the fact that a woman's body would be rather women's rights are affected or infringed upon, and say a woman's choice to abortion, for example, is dictated by a man. That is completely not where I stand. And if that kind of thing came up in the States Assembly in the event and I was elected, I'll never participate in that. I will completely vote against it. Okay. women must be respected. I am married to a woman and I respect her highly. Okay. I respect her highly. And if my wife was to have a reason to claim abortion was what she wanted, I may not agree with her, but I would support her decision because it's her body. Okay, she's the one. No man has ever experienced pregnancy. So when a woman is going through something that we as men have never experienced, we have no choice but to support them. And we cannot dictate how they should deal with what is happening. Just like any other health scenario. If I was unwell for some reason and I had a health condition that a woman does not experience, I don't think she would have to dictate how I should treat myself. So I don't believe the pro-life thing. It was a blip, so it's not going to affect my votes. I believe all the women who misunderstood me and they had decided they were going to not vote for me now understand it was a blip. It was an unintended mistake. It was not something I meant. And also an omission of one word, not that one word in my first letter that I wrote to somebody, which ended up on publication on Jazzy Politics. So I don't think that's going to affect my votes. All right. 7-8, I hope 7-7, I hope I have answered you. When you say I highlight, the highlight of the campaign for me was really learning. I learned a lot about speaking to the community. I love to actually speak. I would love to perfect my speech. I would love to become a public speaker a fluent public speaker. So I have learned that my speech, I need to do more training on how to speak and address matters to the community. I enjoyed St. Clement more than anywhere during my campaigns, and I will still say it was the climax of my participation. Derek is asking, what is your opinion of misinformation within this current space? It's very unfortunate to see how social media is used, and when people go after particular candidates and some candidates go after another candidate, and sometimes I think it is a level of dishonesty that is, we are basically exposing our dishonesty online. But also I think that when you look at, for example, some of these misinformations, they are a reflection of some individuals' personal challenges, and it will be good for all of us to look first of all into ourselves. And if I wish people could also use techniques like, first of all, before you publish anything about anybody, to actually seek for their audience and see whether they mean what they have said before anybody can go and start decampaigning the other. So I think that a lot of the misinformation has been actually more of mischaracterizing people. So, for example, if I said something about something, not someone, I'm saying something about something, and then somebody does not agree with what I am saying, then what happens is that that individual starts making names or starts saying things against me, the person, instead of responding to the issue that I am saying, I'm communicating. So if you also notice that I have not been actually engaging on social media except on my page, because that's my discipline. So anything that I make, I'm not going to start posting so much on other social media groups, because I have a page that if you're interested in seeing what I want to say, you come and get message from there. You come and ask me from there. But if you are going to take it from my page, from my Facebook to another to another group, and then using it the way you like, I think that everybody should be responsible for what they choose to do. So my opinion around misinformation is basically we need to learn to keep our lane and just and I'm going to have my own press arrangement if I were elected. So people will have to respect, my consistency. I'll not just run and post things here and there. And if I post anything and it is not right on my group, on my page, instead of picking it and taking it somewhere, even without my knowledge or request, I think the public should be able to judge and see for themselves those characters. George, I spoke to Kate earlier. I met Kate, and Kate and myself have cleared issues. Before I met her, actually I was conversing and I ended up at her door. I didn't even know she lives there. And I'm glad that it was just not me. It was me and Samantha plus other people, and Kate's partner was there as well. So there is nothing dishonest about this. What I am saying is that what Kate posted about me earlier was not anything to do with what I meant. For her, she did what she did in the moment and in the understanding of what that message appeared to her. And that's why she later posted online a different message after communicating with me. So how I wish also Kate could have contacted me maybe in the beginning, because the message that I did, even though the people that had communicated to me, I had communicated to them privately, was actually picked from a private point of view. And I also understand that since people have communicated to me on a public page, they expect me to respond publicly. And in assumption is that for me not responding publicly was dishonest of me or was not transparent of me. Well, I can correct that. For me, it wasn't about being dishonest. For me, it was responding to that person and also trying to avoid carrying on conversations online that almost have no end. And I don't actually have that time during campaigns like this to try and respond to block messages that, imagine if I had done that mistake openly, and then I'm waking up to 100 messages. I am also human. So I need to also protect myself. So when I wrote to that individual and made that mistake that I made, but that individual went and shared with Kate, so Kate also understood it the way she did, of course, it just carries on. And at that point, I had still not noticed I had made that mistake. So eventually, yesterday, when I got to see what Kate had done, she highlighted where she had issues, which was good. I appreciate her for that, because she's so particular. She pointed out those. And then that's when I noticed this is where the problem was, because I omitted a word. Now, I had to apologize, which I did yesterday in writing. Okay, I did in writing on my page. I apologized, and I expect to move on. And then today I end up at Kate's door without any plan. It was made in heaven. That's how I looked at it. It was made for reconciliation. I even did not know any conditions that Kate was in. So when I saw Kate as a person, not as someone behind the screen bashing on computer, I had empathy for her. I had concerns for her. I understood where she was coming from. And actually, we ended up and closed the chapter nicely. So I promised her I'm going to write my statement on Facebook tomorrow in response to our interaction. And I'm going to do that. But she has gone ahead to do it even before me, which is honorable of her. So, George, please, it is important to take context. Sometimes we also rush to make conclusions when we don't actually understand context. That's where misinformation really lies. A lot of people are doing misinformation having not done due diligence, which leads to continuous online chaos, basically. And I would love to manage that by saying, I would love people to approach me one-on-one. This social media thing, it doesn't solve many questions. I'm here now putting myself forward to talk to you guys, and I appreciate that you get the message right from me and appreciate me for putting myself forward. If you are talking about Kate, I've answered that. Why did you go for senator first and not deputy? This is a question I've answered in the hustings. I come from a background of having led 10,000 students in university. I felt like I wanted to challenge myself more. And also, there is no definite criteria that suggests or written that I should start from a deputy. So having looked at the options, I wanted a challenge, and I put myself for the senator position. Besides, I wanted to experience the whole island. I wanted to experience the entire island through this process. And so it is why I put myself as senator. And if I succeed, my hope is that I will not be limited to just doing work within a specific location as the constituency of a district, but my constituency is the entire island, meaning I'll be working with all the deputies and I will be working with all the parish, the constables and everybody alike. But that was an open choice that was there, and I just chose something that I felt would give me, would stretch me more, because I love to learn. Uh, 77, can you help me understand what you mean? What's your thought on Terry Lemaine? What's the problem with Terry Lemaine, or what is it? I don't know. I've been focusing on my lane, so I really don't know what my thoughts would be on that, because I don't know what's going on. Where do you stand on the new school in town, for or against? Again, I have found out that there is a majority, like a divide. It's a divide around for and against that school idea. I feel it's more of it's more of a project for the party as opposed for a project for the people. And those that are within that area where it's being suggested to happen, there is no consensus. There's no actual consensus about it. So for me, I'll go with what the people want. What do the people actually want? Not what Reform Party wants. Okay. So, but I also realize that this is not a new idea. This is an idea that has been there by someone who raised this before, but it's now been taken up by Reform Party. So I've been reading through the line, between the line rather, and my position about the new school in town is that I would want to listen to the people. What do the people want in that area? Should there be an age limit on social media in your view? Absolutely. Absolutely. I think social media should have an age limit, except I would not say what age limit it would be. Because again, I would love this to be a conversation of, or a conversation around the community of Jersey. I would never want to impose certain things that impact everybody, but I would love to engage as part of the community in a subject. So if we have anything that requires that clearly we can see it has a need to be resolved, like I have issues around how child rights is more pronounced than child rights is more pronounced than child responsibilities. You know, I would want to raise that and see how the community thinks about it. And I have found a big support around that, which it comes down to including things like social media, how social media and even just screen time for our young people disconnects them from growing up into young people who are all-rounded, who are holistic, and who can work and relate and have good interpersonal skills. So I think we need some framework guiding principles on how and when a young person even needs to be handed a smartphone, let alone social media, because social media is done on tablets, smartphones, anything that has got internet on it. As long as they are not using it for learning, for education, I think we need to try and come up with a way of managing that. Yes, I was asked to not to join Value Jersey exactly. I was asked whether I needed support with my interest in standing as senator. I met some Value Jersey people who then I did not agree with the terms and conditions. I just thought I would stand by myself. So that is a fact. I was asked, but I did not join. And on the other hand, what I've come to learn is that the Value Jersey way of doing things is that it's the candidates that are aligning themselves with Value Jersey, not the other way around, which is a very interesting arrangement. But I would love to ask, I'm going to be later having Samantha with me here, so you can ask Samantha some of these questions about Value Jersey, because I am not going to be of any help at all. Why am I out conversing with Samantha? A question by George. I would be with anybody that is happy to converse with me. I'm not fast as long as I am invited. So Samantha has been inviting me. She has liked my way of conversing, and I have liked her way of how she's been doing her social media, challenging certain things that are happening on the island. I have also been with Ina Gardner. I have also I've also tried to, hey, Samantha is here. I've also tried to connect with other candidates. So at least the two candidates I've conversed with is Samantha and Ina Gardner. Hey, Samantha, you're welcome.
Hi, Martin. Hi.
Yes, you're welcome.
Good to join you. How's it been going?
It's going fine so far. I've reached a point where questions are coming to me now about.
Got my glasses on so I can read them.
Okay, about Value Jersey, why I have whether I have been I've been invited to join Value Jersey, and
No.
I agreed. I was actually.
Oh, were you?
Yes, I was.
Okay. Wait, who did that?
So there's this she American girl I spoke to. What's her name? Is she American or Canadian? There's one lady that is doing the research, but Phil actually spoke to me.
Oh, because he met you at the African Day.
Yes, he met me at the African Day. Yeah. So Phil invited me, and then he linked me with this lady that has been doing research.
I mean, I think, the important thing is that I suppose, back in the days when I was part of the senior leadership team, before I left to become a candidate, we spoke to, I think, pretty much everyone. There were a few candidates who didn't, and the parties weren't interested. But I think we spoke to a good proportion of all of the other candidates, because we wanted them to see some of the ideas that we've come up with, and see the research. So yeah, I think a lot of people were spoken to in that time. Okay. And you know, for us, it's less about or for Value Jersey, it's less about people.
Can you speak up louder?
Oh yeah, I can speak up louder.
Yeah.
So for Value Jersey, it's you know, we keep on saying it. You know, it's a movement, and it's about, you know, it's a flat pack democracy. So you can take whatever elements from that you like, or not. The research is there to be used by any candidate, or anyone else actually going forward. You know, it's a starter. It's a discussion. It's meant to be there to help promote ideas for Jersey.
Okay. So as I promised you guys earlier, Samantha was going to be here. Here she is. And when asking me any questions around Value Jersey, please, this is the right person to answer.
I'll try.
And there was a question there asking me as well, why am I out canvassing? And I've just answered George to say that you have admired how I do my campaigns.
Yeah.
I have admired how you do your campaigns. It has never been anything to do with Value Jersey.
No.
In any case, you're also still an independent person.
Exactly.
You are an independent candidate. So we have come together to just put efforts and as well, it saves so much time. So imagine going knocking through doors, and we are talking to the same candidates, same voters, and it saves their time, because I'm not coming to knock after 2 minutes and then you're also knocking, and then so exactly. we've done that in a very understanding way.
Exactly, and you know, we're trying to get around as many doors as possible, and it's quite difficult as an independent. So it's nice going out with somebody. So I've campaigned with different people too.
Yeah.
Some friends, some other politicians, not all Value Jersey, because it's nice to have that companionship. And when you're trying to, you know, you knock on doors and a lot of people aren't in, and it takes time. So if there's two of you and you can knock on different doors and then call the other one over if you find somebody in for them to talk to. So it's just time efficient as well.
Yeah. So why did I say no to Value Jersey? So first of all, I did not want to get into the wrangles that are going on. For me, I wasn't really. I went and first of all respected their invitation, and I wanted to listen to their side and how they were going to work with me. But one thing I noticed is that there was already this Reform Jersey and Value Jersey knocking around, and I was thinking, do I want to be part of that? You know, and it was not really helping with making me comfortable. So it was really one of my main reasons for saying no to what's the word you used earlier? They don't
endorsing.
You endorse them, but they don't endorse you.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is
exactly.
That's the terminology there, and I did not accept to do that. So I hope I have answered you, Shoni. Thank you for appreciating that there was some good connection between me and Kate earlier. It was indeed not a coincidence, you say.
I think it was serendipity.
Yeah.
So we first of all started talking to her partner.
Yeah.
And then Kate came out. We ended up having a really, really long conversation.
Yeah.
It was very good to clear the air. I think I think from my point of view, because I am very women choice, I'd be horrified if we lost the right to choose. And what's going on in America at the moment is I would say appalling, actually. And I was concerned about some of the stuff that had been discussed online. But when I spoke to Martin And then I understood actually it's the way he was using pro-life, and I think that's a cultural thing. And you not being native, you just use language in a different way. So I have clarified that Martin would not force a woman not to be in control of her own body. And I think women, ultimately we have the right to say what goes on with our body.
Absolutely. Which candidate have you got on best with?
You have to say that because I'm here.
How would I not say that?
Okay, maybe we should say apart from me.
Apart from Samantha, I think Ina Gardner. And you know what? I come from a very interesting history with Ina, because Ina was on the back of the police van. For about over 4 years, I was on the back of police van fighting hate crime in Jersey. But Ina had never met me until I put myself forward as a...
Really?
Yeah. And I knew Ina from a distance because she was already a state member.
Yeah.
And I always passed by around her, and I never thought there was nothing that brought us together until this moment. And then the first time we met was at the African Day, not African Day, the Zimbabwean Independence Day. Yeah. At St. Mary's was that. Yeah. So that was the first day. And then I told her, by the way, I've worked with you before. And I was like, what? Where did you work with me? I said, we did a campaign together.
Yeah.
And then she was, oh yes, I remember that. So you were the black face there on the... Yes, that was the only black face on the back of the... So it was a good chat.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to park the people who are endorsing Value Jersey, because I think people expect me to say that, and then I'll be having to pay favourites within that, which work that way. So also for me, so I did know Ina before, but I knew her as education secretary. So I co-founded a charity called Jersey Youth Performing Arts, and that was all about social inclusion, social mobility. Because I'd done a production of Bugsy Malone for the JDC, acted as the producer, and we ended up with this great cast of 49 kids from around the island. And they went to all different schools. We had them from Grainville and Lecanavay and Vic and Bowlia, St Michael's, everywhere. And all the kids got on really well. And I think what was really good about it as well is that some of the boys in particular who'd had bullying at their schools, because being a boy and enjoying the performing arts can be a rough ride sometimes, and so they found their tribe. And then there wasn't scope within the JDC at that time to do any more youth productions, and that's how Jersey Youth Performing Arts was formed, because we realised a third of the kids actually couldn't afford workshops or the theatre workshop, or there's some very good performing arts schools in the island. They're great, but they come at a cost, and not everyone can afford that. So we set up Jersey Youth Performing Arts to keep that group together. But everything is run by volunteers. It can be quite constantly fundraising to keep it going. And we were paying Hope Valley School quite a lot for the theatre. So I went to see Ina Gardner as education secretary and said, look, we're paying £4,000 a time for the theatre. And she was brilliant. She just said, right, great, we need to get rid of that charge. And whilst she was education secretary, we actually got it for free, which was amazing. So she was so supportive of the charity. So so I've been a bit of a fan of hers since there, because it was so easy to arrange that with her. Yeah, she was really proactive, and she actually delivered, and she got on the phone to Rob Sainsbury, who was working at the time. So so that was all brilliant.
So 77 has written here, I would say separately, well done to both of you for standing. It does take a lot of courage for all the good moments. There are some moments that aren't as nice, particularly online. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
We have both had a stick online, haven't we?
Stick online. I think what you need to try and do is remain focused on the policies and also understand why people are are saying some of the things online. You know, there is a lot of, you know, we are in a cost of living crisis at the moment. People are angry. Some of that anger spills over onto online at the moment, and that's really understandable. And I think also trust in politicians, or anyone standing for, you know, we're not politicians yet, but we're obviously standing for it. And so trust in that is at an all-time low. And I think we need to, you know, if we get in, I think that is something that everybody needs to work on. I think transparency of government, transparency of politicians needs to improve. And hopefully that will then filter through to the online, because yeah, I mean, you can hope that by demonstrating good behavior, that will just, you know, and also the teamwork from the politicians. I think if politicians have more teamwork together, then hopefully that will engender more community in the island.
Well, 77 is giving you some good remarks here. Samantha, I read your analysis of Alan Lapavo.
Yeah.
I hear nothing but good things and completely agree.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He is a good guy. I have to say, I've only got to know him through the campaign. He hasn't endorsed Value Jersey. I keep on having to clarify. I think because if I say anything about anyone, the immediate question is,
you worked for Value Jersey before, did you?
Yeah. So I was one of the early people in. I did a lot of work on policies.
So you are historical.
I'm historical. That makes me sound old.
But you shouldn't feel. I don't think really there's really anything wrong about you being that before you were part of them and now you endorse them. My thinking is all this confusion. Sometimes I think the public need to see where the confusion comes from. So we have seen so much publication on JP lately. There was a big article about that, and I guess maybe we need to. I wish we could have another moment if we could just emphasize on some of this. How do you would love to clear the air around that? I would love to see people listening to you and how you differentiate what Value Jersey is, what you are standing for, and where the values that so-called Value Jersey comes to play. You know,
it's very easy. In my head, it was very much built to enable independents to stand, to give them research, and to give them the confidence. We don't have enough people standing. You know, if you look at women and how many women are standing this time, I think we're down to 29. Which, bearing in mind, we had got to a point where we were almost half and half of the assembly, is really sad, because we're not going to be there. We're not going to be.
So how many are going to be voted? We don't know.
We don't know. Yeah, it was really trying to do something different, and I understand that doing things different, when you introduce something new, people are always going to ask questions about it. So over time, hopefully, people will be.
The things like, are they registered in Jersey? Are they registered
they are
at
now.
all?
No, they're registered in Jersey.
Are they registered in the UK?
Well, no, that company is now being closed down. The only reason that was done, and I think, you know, Mark Boliat raised it at the Senate hustings the other night. How long does it take to open a bank account in Jersey? And you can't open a bank account in England with a Jersey company. You have to have an English company. So we had set up in England to be able to set up a bank account. It was all a bit, topsy-turvy, but, and genuinely didn't think it was going to be that big a deal. But anyway, it's now set up in Jersey.
And then how about this question of Value Jersey having monies that are not known, sources that are not known? Is that something you can answer to?
Well, I think, there has obviously been a lot of, examination on it. Some people have come out publicly and declared. I think it's really sad that the people who have come out and have been transparent about it are now being hounded. And I think that's, there goes by why people don't want to come forward and say, yeah, I was one of the islanders that funded Value Jersey. I think you just look at the media today, and Lee standing down as being president of the Chamber of Commerce, and he was just trying to do a good thing. He was trying to fund some research that was going to benefit the island. And, he's got an awful lot of stick of it because of the negative publicity around Valley Jersey. And so, again, I think all we can do over time is show, Valley Jersey is not going anywhere. It's there for the long term, and as far as, where I sit in, I'm an independent. I am endorsing Valley Jersey because I believe in the policies that it came out with. But it's not a full suite of policies. It's some policies, and then I've got my own. So, if you go to my LinkedIn today, I've done a piece and an article on our elderly strategy, which I think is vital for the island. Actually, we've got an aging population. We talk about, we've got a housing issue. We need to encourage people to downsize, and talking about comfortable housing isn't good enough. We need to talk about retirement communities. We need to talk about support. I've had a lot of emails from people, the sandwich generation, so young families. So you have daughters and sons who are looking after their young, as well as looking after elderly relatives, and feeling stretched at both ends, coping with work, coping with a mortgage. And then I've lost count of the number of people that I've met in flats in town, elderly people who are quite trapped in their flat, and are barely leaving it, and are feeling really depressed and very lonely. And if we can move towards the retirement community, which we are desperately lacking, at the moment, you either stay in your home as long as you're able to live independently without huge amounts of support. There is some care available that can come at a cost, or you go into a care home. We don't have that hybrid. We've got one, I think, which it's a private facility, and we need proper retirement communities and intergenerational communities. And, we need to be looking at places like St Saviour when we develop that. That is a fantastic opportunity. We've got the reservoir, we've got so much there, and it would make an amazing place for that. So, so go out and read my article on LinkedIn, because I talk more about that there.
Okay, lovely. So we'll proceed. Hi, Shoni, thanks very much for being here, and God bless you too, and may you have a lovely and restful good night with your son picking up from school, from wherever, I don't know, you didn't mention where, ready for bed rather. Okay, and then thanks, Mark. Thank you, Mark Reno. Welcome. I look forward to your questions, if any, and then how do you get on with reform candidates? I tell you what, I haven't had any reform candidate approach me for any conversation. Yesterday, I had the opportunity of sitting near the president of reform, Sam Mezek, and I had some little pleasantries with him. So to be honest, I haven't had any detailed interactions with candidates of reform. So
I have
you?
Yeah, so I have. I have obviously, because I'm in an area where we're standing. There are 3 reform candidates standing. I think to begin with, it was we went to the candidate fair. Tom attacked me on the Valley Jersey, but actually we had a discussion, and he was then really lovely. He then apologized, and ever since then he's been fine. When we see each other, we have a good chat. Same with Carla, and actually Carla and I are both in another group. So you're talking about groups of support. Carla and I are both in a WhatsApp chat, which is Women in Politics, which is just a group of various current and potential, and also just some women who would like to see a few more female candidates in, and that's just quite a nice forum. And Carla and I are both in that together, and yeah, get on fine.
Great, lovely. 7-7. I do think this is the problem through Samantha. Having to clarify who is a member is the biggest issue for the value jersey. Would it not be easier to publish a list of the candidates?
Okay, I have repeatedly online, I think I've lost count of the number of times I have listed the candidates. It's just that because of the rumor mill, people are sort of coming up with their own lists or potential lists, because, you know, if I talk to somebody, that automatically means that maybe that they are also a
value jersey. Yeah.
So I have go back, message me, I'll send you the list again, but I have put the list online constantly.
Okay. You know what? I would like a political setting where people are transparent of whatever kind of leaning they might have or membership they might have or not. Okay. But interaction should actually not be a reason why we should identify with anybody. Yeah. I think interaction should be the reason why actually politics works.
Yeah,
irrespective of where we come from.
Absolutely.
If we don't interact, disregarding the background we come from, then that's how the squabbling will continue.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think we've all got to come together. You know, we are going to have different ideas.
Yeah,
we are going to have different priorities, but it's the way we then interact and talk about that. And actually, I think that's quite important to have different perspectives as well, because if everyone only had one perspective, then we wouldn't be representative of the island.
No. At all. And I like the independent setting. 49 independent members. Imagine if we're all 49 independent members, then we would be coming with like equal would say mandates.
Yeah.
Literally. Of course, we might have different number of votes that brings us in, but it's like we're equal mandates. Like we all have one share to the party.
Exactly.
So, but if you have the kind of arrangement that the team of Sam Mezek are emphasizing, that we have to have a political party, I think it brings a different dimension of multi-party arrangement. Now, a multi-party arrangement for a small island like ours, and we want things done really fast. We want things done really quick. I think 49 members, if only we can come up with a working arrangement that we all know we are equal. We are equal members. We're not coming with a backload of I'm a this big party, or I have a big party mandate from the people kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then we are not. You do not have kind of this kind of you know what you see from these party arrangements.
I know what you mean.
You come with power.
Yeah, and I think that's when, you know, you then start to see some of the relations in the assembly break down. I think there has been a lot of talk. So Jean Remate has brought in. He's got a petition going to for a review of how the Council of Ministers is working. I think it's almost 20 years, more than 20 years since the Clothier report and since it was brought in. You know, I'm old enough to remember the committee system, and the committee system was slow, but everybody was involved. All of the assembly was involved in decisions, and everyone worked on committees. And there would be disagreements, but people would work through those and discuss them. And so as a committee, you'd come out with a decision. And I think that led to much braver decisions back then. And I'd love to see some sort of hybrid where there are committees around ministers, where all of the backbenchers are involved. And I know that in a way that's the idea of scrutiny, but the problem is with scrutiny, as far as I see it, is that it comes in too late after the event rather than being more advisory and supportive around the minister. So it seems to be, it's just a little bit jarring at the moment. And I think yeah, I just think getting that teamwork element back into the assembly is really important.
Yeah, but I think also that report was not fully utilized.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No. We took what we liked. Typical Chelsea. I'll leave bits of it.
So I think this is the time. Hopefully, new faces like us are taken in, and we just need to go back to the drawing board and say, look, the recommendations must be fully utilized.
Yeah.
Because if only we can respect that recommendation to its best, then we can be assured we are going to offer the best for the island.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Now, we proceed to the next. Mark, I vote on anyone I like, not on if there is a party or not. Okay. That's a welcome opinion.
That's good.
And then 77, in a ministerial government, how are you both intending on voting for senator? That's a bit a mix.
I voted for Martin.
That's a bit of a mix there.
Yeah, so in a ministerial government, I think that wasn't a completed question.
It looks like a continuation of this.
In a ministerial government, how are you both intending on voting for senator? But that's not in government, that's out of government. So in terms of
who are you intending? So he corrects.
I'm voting for senator.
Who are you intending to vote for senator?
So I'll definitely be voting for Serena. I have already voted actually. I definitely for Serena, and I voted for Martin. But I'm not going to go into the full list because actually, one, it's a everyone, it's a secret ballot for a reason, and I need to, if I get in, I want to be able to work with everybody, and I don't want people to feel, oh well, that person didn't support me. So I think that, I hope you understand why we're not going to answer that question, not because we're not being transparent, but for the same reason as for the reason that secret ballots exist, and it's important.
I can tell you the one person I'll vote for is myself. That's allowed, isn't it?
It's all right.
Yeah,
it's all right.
I'm going to vote for myself.
Yeah.
But for the others, I think it is best for us to leave that as a secret ballot. But you can tell me, whom are you going to vote for? Can you tell us? You're welcome to list for us your first 9. Your top 9.
Top 9.
Yes, 7.
I think that's a bit unfair on him.
If
we're not first, I don't think we should ask him either.
He asked me. Maybe I'm not on his list, so let's do that. Okay.
So around the question was, I agree with Serena on collaboration. Would you work with any other candidates in a ministerial government? Yes, absolutely. I think we have to.
Yeah.
And I think whatever disagreements have happened running up to the election, hopefully they can be, we need to sit down over, there's not cups of coffee, sitting down over a cup of coffee and talking things through, and just being prepared to listen to the other person's point of view. I think that's really important. But yes, absolutely. I think everyone who's elected needs to be prepared to work with everybody else.
Yeah. All right, I am going to announce that we have 5 minutes to go. I'm sorry. I am sorry that every good thing has to come to an end, but my last Q&A is going to be tomorrow. Okay, so I don't know whether I will bring in a new guest or Lady Samantha might still come back. We'll see. We'll see. It will be subject of discussion offline here. However, we still have some questions before the time ends. And Mark is saying Serena has a great mind. Sport is really helpful on brain health.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
there is so much.
Yes.
I totally agree. And there have been trials in England where they get the school kids to do a 1K run before the start of school, and they've seen a leap in school attainment in the schools in there, whatever it's been. So
that's something to adopt here.
Absolutely. And I think that's why Serena is pushing
return
to get
of the PE teachers
back into primary school, because it's really fundamental.
I would support that.
You really need to oh, 77 has given us his list of senators. I'll tell you who 77 is voting for in a minute. But yeah, I think it's absolutely essential. It's surprising that it was cut in the first place. And I understand budgets and everything else, but given the direct link with attainment in the classroom, I think it's really important. And I also think it's really important for SEND children in particular. I think you actually exercise and NG. I can talk about this because we have it in our family. My youngest used to be sent out by his reception teacher to do laps of the playground when he wouldn't focus, and then he'd come back in and focus. So
behavior management.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great one. But I think it's not, it's for everything. I'm very connected with the dementia journey, and I sit on the dementia oversight board as a volunteer because my mother's had it for 15 years. And if you look at the connection between keeping yourself healthy, not just with the food you eat, with your mental activity, you can improve your brain health. For every language you learn, you can delay dementia by 4 years. But also physical activity. There are so many things that we can do to minimize our risk of getting dementia.
Wow. So 77, you kindly responded to my challenge, and I'm not going to read those names, if just in case someone came to watch this and they had to hear me reading it,
and then they'd say it was you.
And then they say it is me.
But thank you for letting us know.
So thank you for your honesty and transparency there. You're very, very open man.
Yeah.
And then we have, actually, I don't know whether it's a man or a woman. 77. I've been asking 77 since yesterday to disclose who they are to me, and they have not accepted that. That's their privacy.
Absolutely.
But they're open to tell us who they will vote. So that's beautiful.
That is good. So
Mark,
we used to swim at school, and those were my best days. Gym before school, it was 9 to 11, and then science. It really helped me. Absolutely. So yeah, case in point, Fort Regent was a real loss for adults. We need a swimming pool in town. Yeah, I agree. Such fond memories of Fort Regent as a kid. I always my father used to take my sister and I often up there on a Friday evening for a swim. And then we'd go and I'd have a Coke. There used to be a bar that overlooked the swimming pool. And they had Space Invaders. That's taking me back, isn't it? That's aging me somewhat. There were Space Invaders. The flat tables where we used to play Space Invaders. So after my swim, I'd have a Coke, a bag of prawn cocktail crisps, and play Space Invaders.
My wife tells me some of those stories, and for me, it just goes over my head. But you know what? It seems you guys really had a good time during Fort Regent.
It was great. I had. My husband gets upset when I tell him I had my first kiss up at Fort Regent. There used to be an underage disco up there.
Up to what age?
From underage, what age? It was so I think I went when I was 14.
Okay.
15. There was an underage Christmas. I'm trying to remember the name. Someone reminds me of disco. What it was called.
In Uganda, we used to call it teenage disco.
Yeah, it was a teenage disco. Teenage disco. There were so many things up there. I spent a lot of my youth up there.
Oh, lovely. All right. We are past our time, and I have the last reading to do. So Mark is saying 18 to 20 great days.
Space Invaders was my life.
Oh, look at that.
I know, it was great, wasn't it?
So many shared memories coming up now. Well, I hope you have had a good time listening to both of us, and maybe spending some of the time earlier, about 60 minutes just with me. And I answered some questions and responded to some misconceptions going about. We'll be coming back again tomorrow, 7:30. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me to join you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Hopefully you come again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And without making this political, the nightclub scene
disappearing is such a shame. I agree.
Oh,
I absolutely agree. And we need to be doing an awful lot more to be encouraging that, because the young are complaining about that an awful lot.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. I hope you understand that we have to end this lovely time.
Thank you,
Have
guys.
a good night.
End stream.
Oh, yeah.